There are a lot of traits that can make an NFL quarterback successful. Tom Brady's rise can be explained by two words: pocket mobility. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a stretch. What I think I meant to say was work ethic. The same two words Patriots coaches and players have uttered when talking about first-round pick Mac Jones. The Alabama star is flourishing early in his time in New England, but there's a lot more to the story than just his work ethic. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to help us on our way to 100K. Also, make sure you smack that like button so YouTube actually pushes out this video. Tom Brady was extremely successful in his time in New England, winning 6 Super Bowls and cementing himself as arguably the greatest player of all time. With his departure to Tampa Bay, the Patriots were left with a gaping hole in 2020 and missed the playoffs for the first time since 2008, when Brady tore his ACL in the season opener. The season highlighted one big thing for the Patriots. It was time to find their quarterback for the future, leading to New England using its first-round pick at the 2021 NFL Draft on Alabama's Mac Jones. And things are already off to a pretty good start. Cam Newton has already had some pretty big praise for the rookie, including telling the media that he was the right pick for the Patriots at the draft. Not exactly what you'd expect a guy in a quarterback competition to say. With training camp just recently starting, it doesn't take a genius to realize that the quarterback battle is going to be the #1 thing to watch. That hasn't stirred up any animosity between Newton and Jones though, who Cam has nicknamed Mac and Cheese. Newton has said Jones has had a very business-like approach and knows that he needs to raise his level of play from the collegiate level, and it certainly sounds like Newton is there to help him along. The expectation this offseason has been that Cam Newton is going to start the year. But based off of what I've just seen in the preseason, I think that Mac Jones is going to try to give Cam Newton a run for his money for that starting gig. Jones was the second quarterback in the rotation behind Newton at OTAs, a change from how the Patriots handled past rookies like Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett, who started deeper in the rotation. From what Bill Belichick has told us, it sure does sound like Cam Newton is going to be the starter in week 1, but we all know that he has to earn it the Patriot way. Belichick has said that Cam Newton is the Patriots quarterback, but he did add that he was waiting for the time for Mac Jones and Jarrett Stidham to also compete for the gig. Based on how things went at OTAs, it appears that the current pecking order goes Newton, Jones, and Stidham, with Brian Hoyer more than likely on the outside looking in for a roster spot. In today's NFL, you don't draft a quarterback in the first round to just have them sit, and Belichick has already put Jones higher on the depth chart than rookie quarterbacks in the past that weren't taken day 1 of the draft. It's no secret that Cam Newton didn't excel in 2020. Trust me, I know. But regardless, he was signed back on a 1-year deal. At the forefront of the contract, it's worth up to $14 million if he can hit all of his incentives built in. But in the NFL, guaranteed money is all that matters most of the time, and for Newton, that's just $3.5 million. His cap hit is only $5.5 million. That's less than Case Keenum, Jameis Winston, and Tyrod Taylor, all backup quarterbacks. There's absolutely no reason why Belichick in New England should feel like they have to start Cam Newton. The reality is that he's making backup money. The money tells us one thing, and that's that the Patriots just don't believe in Cam Newton. The Patriots taking a quarterback in the first round told us that they don't believe in Newton long term. Belichick knows that he has a good roster, especially after a great offseason, but a big weak link is obvious at quarterback. The Patriots absolutely want Jones to start, but he still has a way to go, and there's someone else New England could look to: Jarrett Stidham. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of unknown about Jarrett Stidham, but personally I would be lying if I said that it wouldn't be interesting to see Bill at least give Stidham a shot at the starting gig. Stidham is a bit of a weird wild card in this situation. It's possible at one point that Belichick had hoped he would be the future for New England, but he has struggled when he's had opportunities in games. If Belichick really wanted, or even had a thought that Stidham could be the Patriots starter in 2021, it's hard to believe that he still would have taken Jones. However, I think the big question here is when Jones could potentially start for New England, and a lot of that is going to depend on playbook knowledge over anything else. Steve Sarkisian, Alabama's offensive coordinator in 2019 and 2020, ran a very easy offense. Jones threw go routes, screens, and ran RPOs almost exclusively. But in the NFL, Jones is now tasked with having to learn Josh McDaniels' complex system. He dominated with the Alabama system. Now, it's just a matter of whether or not McDaniels' system can help him dominate in the pros. The good news is, we've already seen McDaniels adapt based on a quarterback's playstyle. When Cam Newton showed up in 2021, we saw a New England offense that looked nothing like it had during the Tom Brady era. Probably due to the fact that Tom Brady can run just as fast as a really overweight woman on one of those scooters browsing the aisle of Walmart. But regardless, now the question is, what will it look like catered to Mac Jones? I think from what I've seen from Mac Jones so far, that he has plenty of potential to grow into a solid starter for the Patriots. From the looks of this offseason, he's been the most accurate, but still has a long way to go on showcasing his strong arm. Jones was touted as one of, if not the most pro-ready passer coming into the draft, but he may just need more time than we first anticipated. If he's going to succeed in the NFL, he's going to have to be extremely accurate. With the way that the game has changed to favor the mobile quarterback, Jones is going to have to find other ways to make an impact. Throwing him out there in week 1 is not a great idea, and could potentially destroy any kind of confidence that he's gained this offseason. But there are plenty of things that you just have to play through to learn. For example, NFL pressure. At Alabama, Mac Jones was constantly protected by one of the best offensive lines in college football, and really just one of the best rosters in general. But when he went under some pressure, defenses could rattle him, and in the pros, he'll have to adapt and just get used to that. It's no secret that transitioning into the NFL is no joke. Now, Jones did play some dominant defenders in the SEC, but still, that's not the NFL. I mean, he's never had Aaron Donald staring him down on the other side of the ball. The Patriots do have a good offensive line, but don't get it twisted, this isn't like Alabama when he had 5 stars at just about every position protecting him against guys that are going to be selling insurance for a living. Jones has to be elite in the pocket because he just isn't as athletic as his draft peers in Trey Lance or Justin Fields. And that's why Jones is in New England and wasn't the 3rd overall pick. But honestly, that just feels like the Bill Belichick way. The Patriots are well into their search for their next franchise quarterback post Tom Brady, and maybe Mac Jones can be that guy. Everything New England has done this offseason tells us that it doesn't think Cam Newton can be that guy. Bill Belichick has already given Jones more opportunities than any quarterback draft selection before him, giving us the idea that the Patriots want him to be the starter. But Jones has plenty of things to clean up before he takes over the reins in New England. So, do you think Mac Jones is the answer in New England? Look guys, we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before the regular season starts in early September. So click somewhere right here to subscribe to the channel, and if you already do, because you're freaking awesome, then click right here to watch another video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out.